Angry guy here. And women are filled with fear and anxiety as they face homelessness. So, women are filled with fear and anxiety as they face homelessness. Guys, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the article, and then we also have a video for you. So, just to get started off, Americans are doom spending. Here's why that's a problem. Nearly all Americans are concerned about the current state of the economy. Still, many continue to spend more and save less. Doom spending may be one way to cope with stress as economic fears mount. However, it comes at the expense of your financial well being. And so, consumer spending has remained remarkably resilient in the face of some stiff economic headwinds. Nearly all Americans, 96%, that's massive, are concerned about the current state of the economy, according to a recent report by Intuit Credit Karma. Love Credit Karma. Maybe I should just get a sponsorship or sorry, affiliate. Right. So, still, more than a quarter are doom spending or spending money despite economic and geopolitical concerns, the report found. Even as inflation and high interest rates have squeezed budgets, a record 200 million shoppers turned out between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, according to the National Retail Federation. This season, holiday spending, this is insane. Holiday spending is expected to reach record levels totaling up to 966.6 billion. Guys, almost $1 trillion in just holiday spending, not total year spending. Almost $1 trillion in just holiday spending this year. So people are basically like doom spending right now. That's the exact term for it. More than a quarter are doom spending. And much like doom scrolling, we're seeing people mindlessly shop to soothe concerns about the economy and foreign affairs, which could take a toll on their financial well-being, said Courtney Alev, Credit Karma's consumer financial advocate. Even as credit card debt tops 1 trillion, Gen Z and millennials are particularly susceptible to this mindset. Other reports show, rather than cut expenses, 73% of Gen Z idiots say they would rather live in the moment. Oh my gosh, guys, these guys, 73% would rather live in the moment. Oh gosh, a recent prosperity index study by Intuit found high inflation has made it particularly hard for those just starting out. More than half, or 53% of Gen Zers, said the increased cost of living is a barrier to their financial success, according to a separate survey from Bank of America. We also have this video, as you can see, because this is particularly affecting heavily young women. NYU professor Susie Welch on lazy girl job trend, and it's a strong desire to avoid anxiety at all costs. Let's go ahead and jump into this.
Goodbye, quiet quitting. Hello, lazy girl jobs. That is the name of the latest Gen Z career trend that's going viral on TikTok. The movement opts for low-stress jobs that favor more work-life balance. Susie Welch explores the factors behind this new career path in her latest op-ed for the Wall Street Journal. And joining us right now is NYU Stern School of Business professor Susie Welch. Susie, welcome. It's great to have you on set.
Thank you so much.
All right, this is one I had not heard of until you wrote this op-ed. What is it?
I had not heard of it either until it was brought to my attention by my students and others. And it's a trend and quite a popular one on TikTok, where a life coach, it started with a 20-something life coach, so self-described, advocated for young women, in this case, to take jobs, low stress, 60 to 80K, where you can just check in, kind of mentally do very little, and then clock out and collect your paycheck, and then spend the majority of your life focusing on what's happening outside of work and becoming amazing humans. And I saw this, and probably my head did not explode the way Joe's might have, but I
took issue with this.
Yeah, well, it's more of what I've been hearing, which is this. For me, it wasn't so much the word lazy. I think that they don't want to be lazy so much as what I generally experience from Gen Z, which is this strong desire to avoid anxiety at any cost. A psychiatrist who specializes in Gen Z anxiety and say, what's going on here? And what the phenomenon is this overwhelming desire to not feel discomfort, and that includes in your career. I know. I mean, and my argument.
I understand it.
I mean, I don't want to feel it either.
I don't either.
But my argument to my students is, okay, well, sort of, you call it anxiety. Could it just be where you have a lot of trade-offs? And look, anxiety disorder is real. I will, that is a true condition that is puts people in hospitals. It needs to be medicated. I understand we're not talking about anxiety disorder, but this is the general zeitgeist around everything that makes you vaguely uncomfortable, allows you to say, I have anxiety. Remember, in Barbie, the first human emotion that Barbie feels, I don't know if you've seen it yet, highly recommend, the first human emotion Barbie feels is anxiety. She is walking and becoming a human, and she says, I feel fear with no object. And somebody pops up behind her and says, that's just anxiety. Don't worry. We all have it. And it's like, do we all have it? Well, maybe.
Well, okay. But you think part of this is our parenting to blame for what's happened here. We've made it too easy for these kids their whole lives and not let them feel any of the stressors?
I wish it wasn't true, but when I was speaking to Dr. Jen Sotsky, who's the psychiatrist, I said, how did this happen? And she said, well, think about the parenting. And I am one of those parents who you work very hard to keep discomfort or anything that's hard out of your kids' lives. It's
or
with
failure.
The best. It's
you
right.
Jump in to help out.
Best intentions. We love them so much. And we try to keep them from feeling terrible, bad things. And then what happens is they get no practice with anxiety. And anxiety is something that when you've done it a few times, you think, oh, it doesn't kill me. I can go on. I can do hard things. But what you get is a bunch of 20-somethings who have never really had to make hard decisions or do very hard things. And then when they start to feel it, they're like, ow, ow, I want to run away.
Can I add something else to the pot, though? I was thinking a lot about this since I read the op-ed. How much of it is because these kids lived through the pandemic, and all of us made life reassessments during the pandemic where we were thinking, wow, is this what I want to spend my time and focus on? And how much do you miss being home with the family and spending that time with them? We kind of went through that. Is it worth the trade-offs?
I think it's actually, with the younger generation, we were making different thoughts about, I think our generation was saying, wait, being at home with the family is kind of great. Maybe I should do more of this. I think with them, the pandemic brought into their lives a lot of uncertainty, a lot of the routine school sort of vanished, and they did feel discomfort with it. So what they're trying to do is not feel more discomfort, because that was a 2-3 year period where there was just no visibility, and they want not to have that feeling of floating in the miasma. I don't know if it's so much about that. I also think, and I felt this with fun employment, another trend that I wrote about, that there's a little nihilism going on, which is the whole world's going to end anyway with climate change, and we're never going to make it. So why would I invest in a long-term future? Why would I play the long game?
That's the downside to all the hysteria. It's ludicrous, because the world's not ending, as we know. And we've had it, I can go back and give you the predictions in the 90s, the aughts, and after.
I don't know. I just saw Oppenheimer. I'm a little less.
You got a much better chance of ending that way. I'll tell you that much. But Susie, there's times when I say, wow, it's a pain getting old, right? Yeah. What are the alternatives? I mean, it's a pain with getting anxiety when you're living your life, but the alternatives are not living your life. Right. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter. And maybe I have tried to spare my kids. I hope they've never had a bad day, neither one of them, in their entire life. Am I wrong to do that? Do they need to be at the school of hard knocks at some
point? That probably the answer is yes. Look, I did the same thing, Joe. I mean, I tried to help my kids and keep them from anything. Although my kids, after this article appeared, all have informed me that they experienced plenty of anxiety, despite my best efforts. That they Mom. But I would say that we did it because we love them. And I think maybe there should be a swing back in parenting to say, guess what? You're going to feel anxiety that's actually good for you. It's going to help you in the long run, and
maybe actually real world anxiety might be preferable to the horrible anxiety that they must get on social media.
Yes, and social media plays a huge role in that.
That's where the anxiety is. Go out in the world. Look, the anxiety is not as bad.
This may self-correct anyway, because what's going to happen is eventually people are going to react to just being bored. Okay, so if you sort of choose to opt out of everything so that you're not feeling anxiety.
You're not talking about just making money. You're talking about mental challenge.
Yeah, like you have to be mentally and emotionally stimulated. If you keep on trying to protect yourself and insulate yourself to the point where, all anxiety is out of your life, are you even living? I mean, are you even experiencing the great joy? I mean, think about a startup. When you take part in a startup, I ran a startup for a few years. I didn't sleep for the 4 years I was doing it, but it was the most fun thing I've ever done. It was the most anxiety producing, but it was stressful, I should say, because anxiety is is really a serious condition. But I would advise everybody to do it. I'd say take a hard job, and maybe the pendulum will swing back when they experience the consequences of this kind of life. 40 hours a week to just clock in and clock out. That's a lot of hours of your life.
The worst jobs I've ever had have been the ones where I'm actually looking at the clock thinking, when is this going to be over?
Exactly. How long can you do it for?
Nothing ventured, nothing gained too. And if you haven't learned about loss, you can't learn about winning. And you can't, if you haven't seen the sunshine, or you can't see the sunshine if you haven't seen the rains.
You know, guys, so I don't know what BS these people are on. Gen Z just wants illicit substances, fornication, and entertainment. That's Gen Z right there. Okay, they need to stop. They need to stop making excuses for these people. These are some lazy people. That's why they're called lazy girl jobs, because they know that they're lazy and basic. They don't want to work. They don't want to put in that labor. They don't want to have to do anything. They want someone else to do everything for them. All right. And as you can see, they're filled with fear and anxiety as they face homelessness because they know they can't cut it. Y'all need to be real about Gen Z. Gen Z is not going to cut it in life. All right. They're heading to the streets. Okay. And that's something about women, about women in general. Okay. It's about the decisions that they make. I've said this before and I'll say it again. In every little girl, there is the streets. And if you don't raise her right, by the time she's 12 or 13 years old, if you don't teach her that, give her structure, all right, she's going to go to the streets. It always happens. And you see all of these videos that I put out where you have these women who are like 23, but they look 53 or older. And they're saying things like, literally saying, they had a place to live, or every time they're in a good place, the streets just call out to them and they have to go to the streets. I had one girl that I showed you where she actually said that, she's out there by choice. She's on the streets, and she was pretty. She said she's on the streets by choice. By choice. She said this is a choice. And she just talked about how, the life on the streets, and there's a feeling on the streets, and there's something about the streets, freedom on the streets. Like you're called, guys, if it's a decision. There's something defective about these people. And I've been talking about it for a while now, and now others are beginning to talk about it. Someone pointed out that I started talking about the Gen Z thing before others did, saying that there's something wrong with Gen Z. And I could see exactly how bad it is. And the only time that people are going to finally admit that, yeah, this is serious is when basically everything starts crashing down and they realize that they can't have a conversation with Gen Z. They can't even stand being in a room with Gen Z. And they have to admit Gen Z are a bunch of dishonest jerks. These people are dishonest. They are absolutely dishonest, and they have horrible hygiene. I mean, they don't wear deodorant. They don't believe in bathing every day. They don't believe in changing their underwear every day. I have stories from some of you guys who say, like, you guys carry a stick of deodorant around specifically for some Gen Z idiots because they are just that bad. I mean, come on, wake up already, And these women, they're making these delete pacts with one another, that if they don't have enough money or if they can't survive, then they're going to delete themselves, and they're going to delete together because they can never, ever, ever face accountability for their poor decisions in life. Come on, y'all. Come on. What do you guys think about this? Women are filled with anxiety and fear as they face homelessness. I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about them there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.